All right, right along, we're going to continue with some world news. I know we mentioned China a little bit, but this is going to be Fox News, so take it with a grain of salt. There's bias in all your news, whether you're biased for America, biased for Russia, biased for China, biased for for left, the right, sideways. You get what it said. But we're going to muddle through. China may be telling our children what to think, according to Fox News.
Winning?
I
No.
mean, I think fucking they're engaging in information warfare. I think we're engaging in information warfare, and I think Russians are engaging in international warfare. And everything that our presidents are accusing each other of, they're all fucking doing themselves, and it's just one fucking dirty game. Because
You suck!
what are you gonna do when the stable's stacked against you, and you have to fucking take care of a whole bunch of fucking people? You got to get the job done. Now it's we got to get off this fucking circle of fuckery and move forward. But let's get into this fucking article right here. China accused of trying to indoctrinate American children. Beijing is pushing propaganda, critics say. This is from Fox News. Critics say Beijing is trying to indoctrinate U.S. children into liking the communist system. I don't think China has to indoctrinate children, our American children, into fucking liking the communist system when American parents and the American school system are indoctrinating our children into liking communist system. The left, the people that fucking are fighting, that hate the Donald Trump supporters and all, they're fucking communists, Marxist, fucking socialist communist bags, and they've been that way long before China was influencing us. What we see from the Chinese Communist Party is they found a loophole, charges Tennessee Republicans and Marsha Blackburn. They look at it as part of their soft power and a way to push their propaganda. They're just taking advantage of something that was already a fucking problem. Um, and quite frankly, it'll always be a problem because we have freedom of speech, and as long as we respect freedom of speech, which we should respect freedom of speech, people are going to be doing that.
That's how winning is
We
done!
can't stop people from talking about communists. So since we can't stop people from talking about communists, they're going to continue to talk about communism, and we can't like snuff it out and stop it. So that idea is going to still float around, and eventually people are going to be hardened out, and they're going to use it to manipulate dumbasses, and we're going to have the same cycle of garbage all over again. Blackburn and others are taking aim at the Chinese educational program that is taught in some of our nation's elementary and high schools, known as Confucius Classroom. The lessons are backed by Beijing's Confucius Institute, a global education program that has been widespread in U.S. universities. However, some of the institutes have been shut down and kicked off American campuses, accused of spreading pro Chinese content in the curriculum. Now, U.S. educational experts are worried that a generation younger than college age is also being targeted. I mean, are you fucking. You fucking Chinese backed program, and you didn't know that the Chinese government was going to have the hand in it? The Chinese government, by law, by Chinese law, has a hand in every fucking pot over there.
Winning? No.
No foreign country should be developing fucking educational programs. If Beijing had some excellent education program where their people are fucking 1,000 times smarter, and let's face it, Asian people are fucking 1,000 times smarter on average, then you look at what they're doing, and we create our own fucking program that emulates that. That is how winning is done.
Winning?
Oh my God. It's deeply alarming to see propaganda being taught to American students, but it's even more alarming to see that the way that the institutions that the students spend on the schools, the teachers, their principals, administrators, and how these institutions and the leaders are being molded and shaped to accept the Chinese government's incursions and even to promote them in a name of globalism and intercultural communication, says Rachel Peterson, Senior Research Fellow at the National Association of Scholars. Peterson charges Beijing's real goal to spread the Chinese Communist Party policies and the American educational system. The Institute's lessons, which include offering the Mandarin language and Chinese culture, also, according to critics, censors the truth. I mean, teaching the Mandarin language and offering lessons in Chinese culture is not bad.
That's how winning is done!
I don't get it. Like, I don't. Are also according to critics. Okay, so the incident they include that. Why is that bad? I don't understand why that's even mentioned here, because it's irrelevant. Learning the Chinese language or whatnot is it's not. But anyways, I digress. The absence of teaching about the deadly 1989 Tiananmen Square protests, where the government massacred demonstrators who took the streets to demand democracy, often cited as part of the censoring. It also has been said that it teaches the independent nation of Taiwan is part of China. I mean, that's up to belief, but you know where I stand on that. They have land, they have an army, they have a government. That's a fucking country.
That's how winning is done.
House Homeland Security Republicans call for clarity from White House on strategy to counter the Chinese threat. Peterson also studied the institutes for many years and was one of the first to ring the alarm bell. She says that the white American, the wild American, stop being racist, jackass. The white American students do not learn the Chinese. They need exposure to Chinese culture, but not on the Chinese government's terms. Confucius classrooms are an inappropriate tool, and it's time to let them go. I mean, that is true. Like I said earlier, it should be on our fucking terms. China claims that the effort is a way to reach out to young people to teach Chinese culture and language, but the Trump administration was so concerned about the programs that late last year it sanctioned the institutes. It must register the same way as a foreign diplomatic mission as considered foreign entities. While the Confucius Institute did not respond to Fox News' questions about its mission, a spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C. took issue with the criticism made at the Institute and classrooms, calling claims unfortunate, politicized lies. The Confucius Institute of classrooms are open and transparent and some in strict compliance with laws and regulations of the host institutes. Confucius Institutes and classrooms have been proved to be the bridge connecting that the U.S. and China in educational cultural exchanges, said that the Chinese embassy spokesman's statement in part. Still, Senator Blackburn is having none of it. The veteran legislator told Fox News that her goal was to end the Confucius Institute in classrooms in the United States. I mean, we should end their involvement in our classrooms, and we should create our own fucking program with consulting them to make sure the Chinese culture and the language is correct. But we need to control the information. We need to have our own programs because everybody's using generational warfare. I mean, informational warfare. Blackburn, it's kind of the same thing, who found herself sanctioned by the Chinese government last month because of her activisms on the issues of Chinese policies, has already successfully passed legislation aimed at curbing the classrooms and institutes. Her Confucius Act passed by the Senate in unanimous consent last year, but failed in the House. She will continue the cause this year under the Biden administration. What has happened in the Chinese Communist Party uses these institutes to push the propaganda. They say and claim that this is the language of cultural education, said Blackburn, but what they are admitted is that the part of their soft power and their propaganda. So we're going to leave it there. As you can see, there's concerns. The Chinese are involved in creating our educational programs, which seems off to me because why is a foreign entity creating American educational problems when Americans should be creating American educational things like Tim Kennedy's doing with his school? I'm just saying.